Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video, as promised, I am bringing you the hottest palettes you can grab at Sephora right now. As you may know, the Sephora Fall Savings event is happening right now. Rouge members get 20% off, VIB members get 15% off, and insiders get 10% off. And these right here are what I consider are the best palettes you can get at Sephora right now with a discount. If you're excited for today's video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get started. Before I even begin, most of you know that the Sephora VIB sale is mostly awesome if you are a Rouge member or a VIB member, so you can get a 15 or a 20% off of your purchase. And right now Sephora is not the only place that is having a sale, so I want to tell you about other sales that you might want to consider that might be a better option for you. For example, a few of the palettes I'm about to mention today are Natasha Denona palettes, and Natasha Denona is having a 20% off sale site-wide right now, and you don't need any membership status to get 20% off of Natasha Denona. Check out my link down below for the Natasha Denona sale, and the 20% off code is Halloween20. Now this sale is only lasting 24 hours, so if you missed it, you can always get a 15% off on the Natasha Denona website using my code PATTY15. So at Natasha Denona with my code PATTY15, you can always get a 15% off. And right now with code Halloween20, you can get a 20% off. So if there's something that you've had your eye on, this is the time to shop. And I'll let you know which palettes are my most recommended as we go through the video. Besides that, I wanted to let you know that a lot of the palettes I'm going to talk about today are new palettes at Sephora. These are what I consider to be the hottest, especially to get on a discount, because older palettes have been on previous sales already. You've had the chance to get older palettes with a discount already, and so I wanted to focus on the new and exciting stuff that hasn't necessarily been on sale yet. There is one exception, and this exception is the first palette I'm going to talk about. This is the only palette that is from last year, and the reason that it's an exception is because this was a limited edition palette last year that sold out, and it is back for the holiday season. Once it is gone, I'm not sure that the Ethereal palette from Makeup by Mario is coming back, so now that you can get it with a discount at Sephora, might just be your best chance to get your hands on this one. The Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario is a true gem of a palette. I absolutely love the neutral, natural color story. I love that this palette has a bunch of matte shades, and the formula of this palette is amazing. It's a bit on the powdery side, but I honestly have never had an issue with fallout with this one. It's just a pretty nice and soft formula that blends amazingly, builds up amazingly, and the name of the palette totally suits it because you truly get very ethereal eye looks with this one. Kind of sort of what I'm wearing today, even though this is something different, which we'll talk about towards the end of the video. But these glittery shimmers right here that Makeup by Mario chose for this palette are truly ethereal, glimmery shades. They don't have a strong base to them, yet they are very attention-seeking. They definitely, truly catch the light, and I love all of the micro-reflective little glittery stuff happening within those two shades. These two shades for me are the star of the show when it comes to this palette, especially when you get to combine these two shades with all of the beautiful natural matte colors around it. I also love this color and this color. These are not as ethereal, they have a bit of a stronger base to them, but they still look very natural, very shiny, and they catch the light quite a bit as well, as you can see right here. Again, this Makeup by Mario palette has a beautiful color story. It has an impeccable quality, and it is back for the holiday season. Once this one sold out last year, it did not come back. They brought it back because it was so popular. People were selling this palette on eBay for like $150, like crazy numbers. So now that it's back and you can get it at Sephora with a bit of a discount, I think this is the perfect time to grab this one. I do have a video reviewing this one where I show you a couple of looks, and then I never made any more videos about it because it's sold out, but I definitely should have. This is one of those palettes that, because I love the color story so much and it works for everyday and for very glamorous looks, I reach for a whole lot. The next palette is from Natasha Denona, and remember, you can also get a discount on the Natasha Denona website. Check the link below. So anything I mentioned from Natasha Denona, depending on your Sephora status, make the decision on whether you want to get it from Sephora or from the Natasha Denona website. With you always having my code to get a 15% off on the Natasha Denona website, this one is only worth getting from Sephora if you're a VIB Rouge. Anyways, the first Natasha Denona palette I want to talk about is this one right here, the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, which has this beautiful, soft, romantic color story that I have been obsessed with. This one has arguably a kind of similar color story to the Makeup by Mario palette, but I'll tell you the main differences that might help you make a decision on which one you want. So when we put them side by side right here, you can see that the Makeup by Mario palette has more brown neutral shades in it, versus the Natasha Denona has more soft peachy shades in it, with only one dark brown shade to intensify your looks with. So if you're someone who likes earthy eyeshadow looks, I would go for the Makeup by Mario palette, because you're going to get easier earthy like looks with this one since there's more brown matte shades in it. But if you like softer peachier looks, then I would go for the Natasha Denona one, because you have more soft peachy shades that are matte that you can create those types of looks with. This one gives you a bit more depth in my opinion. This one is a little bit more soft glam, if you will. So hopefully those points of difference can help you maybe make up your mind on which one you want. Formula wise, I do prefer the Natasha Denona formula. Not that this one is bad at all, it's just a little bit more powdery, but Natasha Denona has a spectacular formula that I just have gotten so accustomed to that I love reaching for. Anyways, with this palette, I did do a initial review video where I created a couple of looks, of course, as I always do. And then I did a 5 looks 1 palette with this one. So you can see the variety of looks that you can get with a palette like the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona. This is another one of those color stories that I tend to reach for over and over and over again, because I do love me the soft, glam, sparkly eyeshadow looks, obviously. And so this palette is one that I have reached for a whole lot ever since it first came out. Some of my favorite shimmers in this one are super ethereal shimmers like this one and that one and like this one here. Ooh, and this one, I love Mia. I even know the name. It's called Mia and I love it. I reach for it all the time. So these are super ethereal, extremely finely milled shimmers right here. Take a look. And then these are not even the sparklier ones. These are like the soft, super finely milled shiny ones, but let me show you the sparkle. The sparkliest one is this one here called Muse, which I absolutely love to put in the center of my eyelid. Take a look right there at what this one looks like. It is an incredible shade and super light catching once you put it in the center of the eyelid. Besides these magical metallic like sparkly shades, the palette, as I said, also has some incredible light matte colors that you can put around those sparkles to really create some fantastic looks. I have been obsessed with this palette since it first came out and I cannot possibly recommend it enough. The next palette that I think is one of the hottest palettes you can get at Sephora right now is the Grunge palette by Huda Beauty. Now this palette has not come out yet. This palette comes out November 1st, and on November 1st I will certainly be getting my hands on this one. I'm going to scoot over so I can show you pictures of it, but basically Huda Beauty is coming out with a cool version of Empowered, basically. If you remember the Empowered palette from Huda Beauty last year, it's like she took the warmth out of it and she created the Grunge palette. If you guys have followed my channel for a while, you know that I am a big fan of when Huda releases her big palette of the year. They always tend to wow me. I love the formulas that she includes in these big palettes. She always makes her big palette of the year in Italy, and she puts some incredible formulas in there. She puts the sparkliest metallics, she puts some beautiful ethereal colors, and really amazing mattes as well. I love the theme of the grunge palette for this year. I love the cool tones that still have some depth to them, and I love that even though she went with cool tone shades, they're not all gray, right? She still has some skin-like colors in there that you can play with to make this palette look very, very natural. Huda makes amazing big palettes that always have a really good amount of mattes, really amazing sparkly shiny shades. She always puts an inner corner color in her palettes, and you can create very light looks with them, or you can deepen them up quite a bit as well. Even though I haven't tried this palette yet, I know that I'm absolutely going to love playing with it, and I already can tell you that I love the color story that she came out with this year. So I'm very excited to get my hands on this palette on November 1st. I hope you are too. I'm going to leave you the link to the palette down below. If it's November 1st, go ahead and grab it, and I cannot wait to play with it. It's definitely one of the hottest palettes of the season to grab from Sephora. Also, I must say, and I say this every year, that I love the fact that Huda always releases her palette either right before or during the Sephora savings event, because you can always get her initial launch with a little bit of a discount, and that to me is amazing. I'm going to move on to some Pat McGrath palettes, and you guys know Pat McGrath does amazing sales all the time, usually 25 to 30% off. So the palettes from Pat McGrath I chose to put in this video are brand new palettes that you haven't been able to get on sale yet, aka some holiday palettes from Pat McGrath. It might surprise you, but I'm not putting any of the big ones in this video. I'm actually going for two of the quints. The bigger palettes, even though I love their color story, were a little bit of a disappointment to me because the formula is her American made formula, which is not the same as her Italian made formula, and also I just don't like the format of them. I don't like that she like forced us to get two blushes with 9 shades versus making a big holiday palette the way she usually does it. So what I'm putting in this video, like I said, are these two quints right here. These are my absolute favorite out of the 4 quints that came out this year, and of course my most suggested. I do have a video playing with the quints here on my channel that you might want to check out, where I have a look with each one of these. I highly recommend this quint right here, the Visual Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Bronze Ecstasy. This one has a very wearable, cool toned color story. It has a matte shade, it has this satin shade that you can darken up the outer corner of your eye with, and it blends beautifully into this one, and it has 3 very shiny, very light catching shimmers as well. For the price of these quints, they have amazing pigmented, blendable, sparkly shadows that I absolutely love. You can take a look right there at how good these shadows are. I barely dip my finger in them and they give you full pigmentation right away. The shades are also super blendable, and this color story in particular very glamorous, which is why I love it so much. So I highly recommend that you get your hands on the Bronze Ecstasy quint from Pat McGrath. The other eyeshadow quint from Pat McGrath that completely stole the show is this one right here, the Lunar Nightshade quint from Pat. I feel like I knew I would like this quint ever since I saw it, but once I tried it and I actually combined these shades on my eyes, my love for this palette doubled, because it is incredible what the teal shades look like when combined with this very warm burgundy color right here. Like, the contrast is so beautiful on the eyes. Anyways, let me show you the swatches of this one. Again, the formula of these quints is awesome. Take a look right there at how pigmented these shades are. This one here, definitely the star of the show for me. And this quint only has 1 matte shade as opposed to 2, but you can absolutely make it work to create some really, really stunning eyeshadow looks. I highly recommend that you check out the video where I created a look with this palette so that you can fall in love with it like I did, because like I said, when you combine this shade with that shade, it's magic, okay? It is so freaking beautiful. Also, I'm pretty sure this is the first time Pat has done a teal shade. She's done blues and greens before, but teal like this color here, I think this is the first time she does it, and I think she created a fabulous one. It also has gold sparkles in there. It's just a really, really good quint to have for sure. I do have an Anastasia palette to talk about in today's video. It is a newer Anastasia palette that came out this year, but it is not the latest Anastasia palette. I liked the Fall Romance palette from Anastasia, but I know that that is not a go-to palette for me. And so I wanted to include in this video palettes that are truly go-tos for me. And so the palette I chose from Anastasia that I think is a must-have from Sephora is the Cosmos palette right here. Take a look at this absolutely amazing color story. If you like soft, glamorous looks the way I do, this palette is perfection. I love that we have a neutral, earthy tone shade for our crease, or you can go for a peachy, more romantic color story if you want to warm it up. This absolutely beautiful, warm, dark matte color right here will combine with any of those amazingly. And if you want to go for a cool tone shade, then you use this one on the outer corner of the eye. If you want to go for a truly dark smoky color, the shade Dark Matter right here is for you. And then you have a beautiful variety of shimmer shades of different colors that you can put in the center of the eyelid, combined with those mattes to create an incredible variety of soft, glamorous looks with this palette. I think this is my most favorite Anastasia palette that the brand has ever had, if I'm honest with you, because I am just a huge fan of every single eyeshadow look I've created with this one. I filmed 7 looks total for you with the Cosmos palette. I did 2 looks when I first got my hands on the palette, and I did my initial review with the swatches and all of that. And then I did 5 other looks when I created a 5 looks, 1 palette for you. And I absolutely love the process of every single one of those looks. Plus, I think that for a 12-pan palette, you can get a lot of variety out of the Cosmos palette right here. Anastasia's eyeshadow formula has been better, I think, since last year already. They did a rebrand of their eyeshadows, and the formula has been better than it was before. Ever since the pans of the palettes are a little bit bigger, the formulas are a lot less powdery and a lot more pigmented than they used to be. Plus the shimmers, especially the shimmers from this palette, are super ethereal and super sparkly. Let me go ahead and swatch them for you right here. Take a good look right there at how these amazing shimmer shades catch the light. I absolutely love them. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the variety of undertones that the matte shades in this palette offer you. If the image of the 5 looks I created with this palette is your vibe, this palette is an absolute must-have for you. I have one more mini palette to show you. This one is pretty affordable. It has 5 shades, and it's perfect for you if you love natural, soft, glam, cool-toned eyeshadow looks. It is from Natasha Denona. It came out this year as well, and I'm talking about the mini Starlit palette right here. I absolutely love this one, and if you're someone who doesn't have or doesn't want to have a huge makeup collection and you are a makeup minimalist, then this right here is a good palette for you to have. First of all, it's extremely travel friendly, so you can take it anywhere with you, and you can have some really beautiful, soft, cool-toned, glamorous looks with this one. With an amazing formula, this palette's performance is great. Now, the only con is that it's not too dark, so I feel like if you have a tan to deep complexion, I'm not sure how this one is going to look on you. Natasha Denona does have amazing mini palettes that work for all skin types. This one just might not be one of them because of how soft the color story is, so keep that in mind. But I think it is a beautiful color story nonetheless, and if you, like me, like soft, glamorous looks, then definitely consider taking a look at this one. I did do a video where I did a couple of looks with this palette when it first came out, and I really love Natasha's formula. and the shades that she included in this one. Take a look right here at the swatches on my finger. This right here is as dark as this palette goes, which is not too dark at all. But this is a very, very beautiful, very cool toned shade that makes this palette give you some really stunning, soft, glamorous, cool tone looks. Let me go ahead and swatch these colors for you. Take a look at the quality of those swatches. Even though all of the matte shades are super light, they pack a bit of a punch once you swatch them on the skin. The only one that you can't see as well is the one right here in the middle, which is kind of like your transition-y blend out type color. But these two definitely would work all the way to a medium complexion. And then I absolutely love how shiny this color is and how beautifully it catches the light. You can do a warmer look with this palette if you just don't use this color. Like, you can see how it can go a little bit more neutral to warm, and then if you choose not to use this shade or this shade, then you can create some really stunning, very cool toned looks with it as well. I believe in my review video I did a cool tone look and a more neutral look. I'm not gonna say warm because I don't think it's warm, but a cool tone look and a neutral look with it. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Pretty affordable and extremely travel friendly for sure. The next palette I want to mention is one that I tried very, very recently and I absolutely love. This is a limited edition palette. Once this one is gone, it is gone. So take advantage of the Sephora sale for this one because this is a very new palette and it's limited edition. I'm talking about the new Lightwork palette Volume 5 from Danessa Myricks. Take a look right here at the absolutely stunning color story that this one has. I love the way she set up the palette by color stories. So you have your blues, your reddish tones, some purpley colors, and then it goes to like blue-green right here, depending on how you look at it, because these look very green to you, but when I look at them from this angle, they look blue to me. Every single one of these shades is extremely, extremely shifty. These are pretty much all multi-chrome shades. And so this right here is your party palette to get from Sephora this year. My favorite way of using this one is to just put a crease color on from any other palette in my collection. Just have a matte crease color on and then darken up the outer corner with any of the darker shimmers in this palette and put one of the lighter ones all throughout the center of the eyelid. And the looks that you can create are incredible. They are going to be a hit all throughout the holiday season, and if you have any like parties to go to, like all throughout the year as well. This is a pricey palette, so make sure that you love a lot of shimmery sparkles before you get your hands on this one, because this is truly a party palette for sure. Like from this one, you will only get extremely metallic, foiled, super sparkly, multi-chromatic shimmers, okay? Have a look right here at some of my favorite shimmers from this palette, and let's go ahead and swatch them so you can see just how creamy these colors are. Ooh! See? Party palette through and through. I absolutely love how this one looks. Let's grab some more colors because this one is just so fun. Take a look right there. Oh my goodness. I am in love, obsessed. Also, if any of you guys are makeup artists, you need to get your hands on this one for sure, because you can create some absolutely incredible looks with this one. It's also a fantastic palette to combine with the Groundwork palette from Danessa Myricks that has all of those very natural looking cream shades. Those are perfect for the crease, and then just put this like right in the center. I love. This is definitely not your everyday palette. This is your very special occasion, over the top sparkly palette. So if that is your vibe, definitely consider getting the new Danessa Myricks Lightworks Volume 5 palettes. That was going to be it for this video, but then I did my makeup today and I realized that I have to make a special mention of this next palette. I kept telling myself this next palette was a very specific occasion palette that I probably am not going to reach for that much, and so therefore I don't think it's one of the hottest palettes to get at Sephora right now. But then I did my eyes today and I'm obsessed with the way my eyes look today. Plus, I really love when I did my review video with this one, the 2 eyeshadow looks I created were spectacular. So even though in my mind I'm not a black and white eyeshadow person, maybe I am, because this palette does have something. It has some incredible sparkles in it. And so I'm going to also mention it in this video. I am talking about the new Natasha Denona Xenon palette. I mean, take a look at my eyes, right? I absolutely love how soft, smoky this palette can be. On my eyes today, I have flurry all throughout my crease, and then I darkened it up with spoosh. I gotta say, that is my favorite combination of matte colors from this palette because it creates this super beautiful, soft, smoky eye on the outer corner or the crease of the eye. I went ahead and played with this champagne shimmer shade right here all throughout the center of the eyelid, and I absolutely love the effect that it gave my eyes and how glamorous and sparkly and how light catching these shimmers are. I'm obsessed. And then on the inner corner I have the color Neve right here, and it's super frosty and beautiful, and I also love the way it catches the lights. If you haven't seen my review video on this one yet, I highly recommend that you give it a look. I did a beautiful black sparkly, still soft, smoky eye in that video that I fell in love with, as well as a blue grayish, halo-y, angled eye as well that I absolutely loved. And so I keep thinking this palette is like not 100% me, but like the eyeshadow looks that I have been creating with it are eyeshadow looks that I can see myself wearing all the time. So I'm a little bit confused about why I think the black and white color story is not for me, when every time I reach for this palette I fall in love with it more and more. So keep all of that into account when you decide whether or not to shop for this one. Do you think you're a black and white person? Because you might not think you are, but I mean, look at the eyeshadow looks I can create with this one. It has some incredible, super light catching sparkles, and I think that is definitely what wins me over when it comes to this palette. Take a look right there at all of that frosty goodness. I'm going to swatch it for you to see right here. I continue to be obsessed and extremely thankful that Natasha decided to put very shiny shades in her midi palette after years of not doing it. Every single palette she has come out with since Yucca has had metallic, shimmery, sparkly shades in it, and they have been my favorite palettes that she's ever created because that is what I love. I love the shimmery, sparkle, glamorous looks. And so the fact that she changed that about her color stories this year has me over the moon, thrilled, excited for whatever she's coming out with these days. So absolutely love this one, and this is my special mention for this video because I'm obsessed with every single look I have created with it. Remember, if you're shopping for any of these palettes, to please use the links I'm leaving you down below in the description box. Whenever you use my links or my codes, you are helping out my channel. I really hope that this video was helpful and that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up. Before you leave, if you're new to my channel, please don't leave without subscribing. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye.